before, and this is how it is now. Perfect. Now what we're going to do, just to save time, we're going to quickly link these. We're not going to get them moving just yet. We're going to quickly link them to another page. Okay. Now, before we actually link them, we actually have to create the other pages. So I'm going to save this, and now I'm going to go File, New, and I want another HTML page. Create it. So another blank HTML page is what we are looking for here. Okay, we're going to call this the Dark Knight trailer, and stretch out your body tags. Okay, so give it some room, and we're going to write some code in here. Now the first thing we need to do is create a container. So we're going to create a div, class, we're naming it, we're going to call it container, just like we did on the home page, and then we'll close that div off. Now inside we're going to create the iPhone background again, but this time it's going to be the flipped version. Now oh well, we need to save it first. File, save as. Let's call this batman.html. Put in the same folder, your website folder. Batman HTML also needs a new file, a CSS file. So go File, New, CSS, create it. And this is where our formatting is going to go. But remember, we need to link the HTML and the CSS page. And to do that, we have to save our CSS page first. We're going to call it batman.css. And then we can close batman.css. In batman.html, we'll go over here on the right side, we'll click the little attach style sheet button, and now it's asking us to browse and find the style sheet you want to attach. It's in my website folder, it's called batman.css, and I hit open and then OK. Alright, there is the style sheet, it's been added. I'll click in there and we can get to coding. I'm going to say .container, and what I'm going to do is fairly simple stuff. I'm going to specify again the height, the width, etc. of the background images. Okay, so open bracket, open curly bracket, background, oh sorry, not background, background image is going to be trailerbg.png. I'm going to use that image, and we're going to specify a width, and the width is going to be 1000 pixels, and the height is going to be 500 pixels. Now this may not work out, but we'll have a look. But I'm going off the home HTML page, and the width was 500. The width of the iPhone was 500, and the height we gave it 1000. So if we just flip the iPhone around, if we flip this around, then the height and width should be flipped around as well for the container, and that's what we're doing here. Okay, so just like in our home, we're going to specify all of this. So I'm just going to copy this code out and paste it in. I know I said don't copy and paste, but in this case we're saving time. Close the bracket. We're telling the background image not to repeat. We're telling the background color to be transparent. Margin left is automatic, margin right automatic, that way it's centered, and margin top is 5%. Let's see if that has done well. Okay, so I'm going to open batman.html, see how it looks, and there it is. That's very good. We want to know the name of the trailer we're watching, just in case we clicked on the wrong one. So what we might do is add in a heading. So inside the body, and not inside the container, outside of the container, because we want it to be on top of the iPhone. We're going to put a heading 1, and we're going to call it Dark Knight Trailer. Okay, so it's a heading 1, and we've called it Dark Knight Trailer. It's outside of the container, before the container. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, obviously we should center this. So we could do it here. We could say align equals center, and that'll do the job. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Okay. Other ways of doing it would be to go to your CSS and say heading 1s, I want the alignment to be central, text align to be centered. That will also do the trick, I think. Let's double check. Yep, it does. Okay. Could even say something like margin top 5%. That way we can drop it down a bit more. Okay. Anyways, let's start adding in a couple more containers. Now, the containers we're going to add is going to be for two things. The first one is going to be the trailer. The trailer is going to sit perfectly in the iPhone screen. The second container or div tag we're going to create is going to go over the iPhone button. And that's going to be our button that will take us back to the home page. Okay. Now, let's go over to our source code. Inside the container, let's create two more divs. Almost finished. Div class, and we'll call this trailer because that's where the trailer is going to be played in. And after that div class, we're going to create another div, and it's going to be called home button, no space, and we'll close that off. Okay, let's go over to our CSS and let's start coding for these two divs. Now, it's all experimental, so the first one we called trailer. Let's open it up and let's go background, background color is red, width, we're going to make it 60% of the main container, and we'll see what that looks like in a second. Height, we're going to make it 80% of the main container. Position is absolute positioning. Left, we're going to say 0 for now, 0%. Top, and we're going to say 0% on that, but we're going to come back and adjust those later. And that'll do for now. We'll close it off. Okay, bit of a problem with the code, but we're back in business. Now, let's just see what we were doing wrong. We forgot to say to the container that the position of the container was relative. I don't think that's too important, but what is important is down here The trailer, yeah, just specify a width and height for it, anything you want. Make sure you, I think we were missing a semicolon, that's what was ruining our preview here. And position equals relative. We've said left equals 0 and right and top equals 0. What we're going to do is push those out a little bit. So we'll say left equals 10%. Let's see how much that pushes it out. Okay, a little bit more, maybe 20%. That's good. Now we need to push it down, so it comes down a little bit. So top equals maybe, let's try 5%. That's good. So if I go over here, it needs to be longer, and it needs to be, the height needs to be greater as well. So the size, width and height, let's make this more than it is. So height, we're going to make that 80%. Wow, that's perfect. And width, we're going to make that, let's see, 65%. That's a little bit too much. Let's bring it back, say 62%. And that's perfect, I think. We might even bring it back just a little bit more. Let's bring it down to 60. That's good there. Okay. We did create a div tag, and I'll just recreate that, but you should have a div class underneath your trailer, and it should be called home button. Okay, remember we created that before. Now, this is going to sit right there. Now, just so we can see it, we're going to say home button background color equals yellow, and width equals let's say 5%. We'll make it small for now. We'll increase it or decrease it later. Height is also 5%. Position, we will make the position absolute. We may change that, we'll see. Left, actually we will make it right. We'll make it start from the right, and we'll push off about 5%. And top, we'll push off from the top about 10%, 20% actually. These are all just random numbers. I'm just guessing at how it's going to look. Let's check it out now. If Dreamweaver, there it is. There's the little yellow box. Now, first thing I can say is, yeah, we've pushed it down quite a bit. We've pushed it from the right quite a bit. We need to push it down further. We need to also push it to the left further, and the box has to be bigger. Okay, so let me zoom out. I'll go into my home button code. So the box needs to be bigger. Let's double the size, 10% for the height and width. And I said we need to push it to the left more. So right equals, let's say 8%, and top, well, we need to push that almost double. So let's make that 40%. And now let's have a look. It's sitting perfectly over the home button, which is brilliant. The only thing I'm going to change is the height. I'm going to increase that to about 13%. And I might just decrease the top margin there to 38%. Increase the height a little bit more, maybe 15%. And that is completely now covering the home button. Okay, we've set up two containers. The first one is where the trailer is going to go inside, and the other one is just going to be a button that takes us back to the home page. Now, what we're going to do is go File, Save All, save everything. Now, very easily, we're going to add a trailer in here. Now, before we do that, what I want to do is show you one thing. It's the design view. Now, in design view, you can actually click where you want. You can go to insert and you can add images and all sorts of things. So what we're going to do is put a trailer in here. So we're going to go to insert, we're going to go to media, it's an FLV file. I'll grab the URL, it's in my folder called trailers, it's the Batman trailer. The skin that I may want for it, so you decide what type of skin you want. The width and height, you can say detect size and it will detect it. Automatic play is what we want, and then hit OK. It inserts the trailer in there, but as you can tell, the trailer it's wide. It's too wide for the iPhone. So what we're going to do is actually play around with the width and height of this trailer. Okay. Now, down below, there's a W and a H. Let's have a look at that. So we're going to play around with this stuff. We're going to change the width, and as long as constraint is on, it'll keep the dimensions or the resolution. So let's make that 500. Hit enter, and then we can see on the page that it does fit. I just need to move it down a little bit now, that's all. Okay, now let's go back into split view. First thing I want to do is move this trailer. So I'm going to go over to my source code, and this is my trailer code right here. Got put in automatically. Now I'm going to go over to the width and height, and I'm going to add in some code. I'm going to say align this align it in the middle, and that should do the trick for us. Save that. Now when we save it, it's saying that by adding in this video you need 2 more files. You need some Flash files and some JavaScript files. Dreamweaver creates these automatically and puts it into your folder, your website folder. So I hit OK on that, and it then puts those 2 files in there. So there they are there. Okay. Now, next thing we want to do is get rid of the red background, get rid of the yellow background, and actually have this div blank. But have it so that if someone clicks in this area, it goes back to our home.html page. Once we get it going back to the home page, we'll get this Batman icon actually linking to the Batman page. So let's do that. I'm going to go to my CSS, Batman CSS, go to the trailer, get rid of background color equals red. That's gone. I'm also going to get rid of the yellow from the home button. It's still there though. Next thing, we'll go to the source code and I'll find my home button. There it is there. That's the div tag for my home button. And what I'm going to do is create a hyperlink back to the home page. Now a hyperlink is created like this. It uses the A tag, and you say href, which means hyper reference, and then we browse. It's asking, where do you want to hyperlink to? Now I want to hyperlink to the home page, the home.html page. So I click on that and it puts in home.html. Now, what I do here is I close that off, and then after my div tag, I close off A. Basically what this is doing is it's an opening hyperreference to this home page, and the closing tag is here. Whatever is inside those two tags becomes my hyperlink to the home page. So in this case, my div, which is that yellow button we had over here, is now a hyperlink, a hyperreference that goes to the home.html page. And let's see if that actually works. I'm going to save this. I'm going to go over to my folder and open up batman.html, load it up. There's my trailer. It's playing automatically. And if I go over here and click on it, it links me to my home page. Fantastic. Okay. So that hyperlink is now working. We need a hyperlink to actually take us to the trailers page. So let's go over to our home.html page. Let's go over to the source code there. And what we're looking at is the Batman icon, which is app 1. And we're going to put a hyperlink and wrap it around app 1. So whenever someone clicks on the first app, it will take them to that trailer. So do you remember what we did? It's an A tag, hyperreference, hit enter, hit browse. We are referencing and we want to take us to the Batman page, batman.html. So I hit open, puts that code in, I close it off. I go right at the end of everything I want to hyperlink and I close off my A. So everything that is inside these two tags becomes a hyperlink. And at this moment, the hyperlink is app 1. And let's see if that works. Let's save this. I'm going to go save all. I'm going to open up that folder, websites, open up my home page. There's my home page. I click on the Batman icon. Whoa. It's a little bit all over the place at the moment, but that's all right. Trailer plays and the home button takes me home. It's a bit weird that the trailer's playing there, but it's okay. Home button takes me home and the Batman icon takes me to the second page. Now obviously we can do that across the board to the Avengers, to Men in Black, to Spider-Man. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so what I would do is go over to your Batman. I would highlight the Batman HTML file and the CSS file, create duplicates, call them Avengers. I'll open up my Avengers.html page now in Dreamweaver because the code is going to be the same. The only thing that's going to change is the video here. So all we're going to do is delete that video and put in another video. So this is the Avengers page. So I'm going to go insert media, FLV. I'll go to my trailers. Pick a skin for it. Um, 500 width I think was good last time. Auto play and hit OK. There it is. I'm going to save this. We'll obviously change the title to Avengers. And let's see how it looks. Obviously the home page, we should actually link that second app there. So app 2 should go to the new Avengers page that we just created. Hyperreference Avengers.html, and before app 3 we close that off. Let's save this. Let's open it up. And our Batman still goes to Batman, and now the Avengers page goes to the Avengers trailer. Perfect. So we'll just go back. One thing we need to fix is definitely the position of the trailer. So let's have a look at what we're doing wrong there. Okay, so what we're going to do, the problem is that we haven't actually told the trailer to go in a proper position. Now we set align middle, and normally that would work. We'd probably have to change that to absolute middle, but in this case all I'm going to say is fill the whole container 100%, and let's see how that. Okay, so the only things we were missing was to make it full width and full height, and not just here but also in the object, the player, the Swift file that's actually going to be the player for our video. So 100%, 100% of the container, 100%, 100%. We save that, we run it, and you will see it plays perfectly in the middle. And we can go back. Okay, so that's the difference between the Avengers page. That's why the Avengers one is up here. So if we were to go to the Avengers and open that up in Dreamweaver, do 100%, 100%, go down and change the container or the Flash Swift file to 100% as well. Save that, go over and check your website. Perfect. Okay, and you could change the background to black if you want as well. Okay. So we save it all, have a look, and we've got 2 of the links working. I'm sure now you can create the other 2. Now the moving of the icons, I mentioned this before, you need different sized images. So one is 80 by 80, and the other one you could make it 70 by 70, 75 by 70 pixels. It's up to you. Just make one bigger and the other one smaller, and then what you will do is use a on mouse on rollover. When you roll over that icon, it changes the picture. Now I'll have another separate tutorial on HTML that will show you how to do that. But at the end of that tutorial, you should be able to have a finished website that looks similar to this. Okay, so that's what we're doing. On mouse rollover should get that happening, and our trailers play. Perfect. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this HTML and CSS coding tutorial using Adobe Dreamweaver. If there are any questions on what we created today, please post it below. I will try and get those images in the description for you guys to use with your own iPhone websites.